This is the 46th installment of
Rebel Scum Podcast.
That is right. I am James Razile, joined, as always, with...
Brocksmink.
Very, very Dutch
Junior.
of you. Junior?
I'm the only one.
I don't think that's true. I think that's not true.
I'm the only BS.
By the way, your dad showed up on the Rebel Scum Podcast Instagram.
What?
As a suggestion.
Oh.
And I was like, I have to hold off and see what...
Yeah,
because
I don't think he has done anything with Instagram.
He's active on Instagram.
He popped up when I was at work once, and I was like, ugh. And then Daryl sent me a things like a screen cap of, the very same Daryl. It's like, look what's going on. I'm like, it's a picture of my dad. People you may know.
So this podcast has changed. It's now all about Brock's father.
Talking about papas.
Well, it is Father's Day weekend coming up, so I guess it is appropriate. Happy Father's Day. This, of course, is the Rebel Scum Podcast, as we said, and we are speaking all things Star Wars, and what an exciting week of Star Wars the past week has been.
Yeah.
As the Battlefront II trailer dropped last week on the weekend on Saturday, June 10th. Did you happen to have a chance to watch said trailer?
Oh yes, I've watched the trailer. There's so much content on the on YouTube right now about it. It's great. Did you watch any of the stream that they were doing with the
live gameplay stream?
The tweakers? No, the
feed? Oh, Twitch.
The Twitchers and the YouTubers. Yeah.
No, I did not have a chance. I was at you were not there, but I was at Andrew Fantasia's 30th birthday party at the Mandarin Restaurant and Cafe. There's no cafe. And I was eating my face full of dumplings and chicken balls.
Ooh la la.
Unbelievable. I waited a couple times. They were making dumplings fresh on the side, and I said, "Hey," they're like, "Have some." I said, "I want some dumplings, but I don't want the ones in the tray. I want the ones that you're cooking."
I like how you use the word fresh for food at the Mandarin.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, "I'm gonna wait right now. I'm gonna wait." And I waited like 5 minutes to get. And then she gave me two, and I said, "No." Load the plate up. Because there's this and chicken balls. You got to deal with it. It was a lot of fun. I met Andrew's cousin Vince. Shout out to Vince. He's a viewer. He likes the show. He says he actually he mentioned how he was upset that you weren't there because he wanted to meet you more than me.
Oh, go on.
He did not. He actually was like, "I'm so glad Brock can't make it."
I know.
He has a big issue with the show, and I'm lying right now.
What's that?
It's Andrew.
What about it?
He's either on the show too much or too little. I can't remember. No, shout out to Vince. He likes the show. He has no complaints about. Well, he probably does, but he didn't say it to my face. He said it. But no, he did watch it, and he mentioned how you weren't there, and it was very upsetting. He's wearing a Game of Clones shirt with Darth Vader sitting on the chair. It was pretty cool. And it was a fun time.
That's awesome.
At Andrew's birthday party, which you were not present for.
No, I was working.
You were working, but you watched the live feed of...
No, I didn't watch it. I'm surprised I haven't stumbled upon it on YouTube, but I've seen a lot of gameplay. I've seen a lot of... There's only one trailer, right? But like it just feels like there's... several trailers out there.
I think because you probably saw it the way I did, where it's like pieces of the trailer sporadically like shown on different sites, and then there's like all of that combined to make one epic badass.
One cool thing I saw was a Instagram showing gameplay where someone's playing as Darth Maul in Theed and is able to throw his lightsaber at a Naboo starfighter and take it down.
Like the yellow ships?
Yeah, the yellow ships.
Those almost made my top 5 last week. That's awesome.
So good.
That's so awesome.
What do you think of it so far?
Well, as everyone knows, I love Battlefront 1.
Yeah.
The new Battlefront. Mm-hmm. I love the old Battlefront too, but the new Battlefront is a game that I somehow fully embraced, which a lot of people did not, but I somehow did. Mm-hmm. This one looks like exactly what I want in a second one. It looks like there's way more to it. There's a story, the campaign mode, which everybody was moaning and groaning about.
Right.
So that looks fantastic. And I cannot wait to get the book.
Yeah.
Inferno Squad. I was looking forward to that before I knew it was Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. Then at Celebration, when they announced it, I was going ballistic with Andrew beside me because you weren't in that. It was me, Andrew, and Rob. And Andrew and I are like, because we're both very much looking forward to that book because everyone knows I love Imperials, like the Stormtroopers. I'm so excited that that's the storyline that they're going
with. It should be much more interesting than I haven't read Twilight Company, but it'll be a little bit different in the sense that you're given a character from the game. Yeah. Twilight, like there wasn't there was no characters.
Twilight Company, though, I will say, is a book you should read if you haven't. Yeah. It's the most underrated Star Wars book for me.
Right.
I think. I mean, it doesn't. grow anything. But Lords of the Sith doesn't really either. I mean, Lords of the Sith, you get to see, I guess, the inner workings of Vader and how he's still kind of emotional. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Your initial thoughts on Battlefront? We're gonna get more into Battlefront 2, but what are your initial thoughts on it?
I don't know. It's like it looks way nicer, but I don't know if that's. Well, I'm sure they've improved the game engine, of course. They do that with every game, but I don't know if it's just because now we're giving a place like Naboo where there's a lot of textures and colors and stuff like that, and then Hoth is Hoth. Hoth is white, Endor is green and brown, so it's sort of like. I mean, they're still good, but
the battle droids look incredible.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, James is gonna be happy about this."
And clones and battle droids on Naboo. I was like, I'm sold on everything.
It's smart what they're doing. We're gonna talk about it more in the news, but I'm psyched. And it's coming out in November 17th. Like,
how incredible is it that this trailer they sell so much, and their first gameplay footage was of Theed. It's the prequels and it's the Phantom Menace more than anything. They want like the most hated era of Star Wars, and they're like, that's what they're using to excite fans, and it's working. How crazy is that?
It's no brainer. Like, cause like you play, I think the second Battlefront for PS or Xbox One. I don't think it was on.
It wasn't Xbox One, because Xbox changed their name.
Sorry, not Xbox One. It was original Xbox, but then I believe it was on PS. It was on PS2 because I remember actually. I think the game's back there. Oh no, back Xbox.
It was probably on both.
It was probably on both. I think the only reason I say PS2 is because I remember that was like one of the first online games I played, and that was all free at the time. No memberships.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm psyched about this game, especially the story mode. But yeah, it looks really good.
Are you also psyched for our upcoming T-shirt contest?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, T-shirt contest. We're gonna open it today, right after the show. Once you finish watching the show, we'll open it. These are not T-shirts for sale. These are just designs. Brock does want to be Brosk for Halloween.
Brosk.
That's what he wants to be. But we have a T-shirt contest coming up. All the rules and everything will be in the description below, as well as our Facebook page. So go on our Facebook page, follow Facebook, and like that. Also, if you have any questions, you can always email us at rebelscumbags@gmail.com. And there are some rules that you need to know about this contest.
Rules.
You want to read them out?
Designs must be Rebel Scum Podcast specific. Upload to TeePublic or email us. Contest ends. Wow, you should have used punctuation.
Well, it's one line.
Contest ends July 31st. Winner announced episode 53. Winner based on sales and a vote by Brock and James. Winner will receive tpublic.com merchandise. Good luck.
Good luck. So anyway, you have until July 31st to complete your design. And the reason we put down that it has to be Rebel Scum Podcast specific is because you can't just put a picture of BB-8 on a T-shirt and be like, "This is my T-shirt design." You have to actually. You don't have to use our mugs, but it has to be specific to us, and you can't really, you can't use copyrighted material necessarily.
Well, like. Yeah, so you can't just take a picture from Star Wars. You have to create an original thing of it, correct? Because there's tons of people out there, artists that are making shirts like that.
Yes, from what I gather from our meeting on the phone, they don't really want that necessarily. If you do that, that's fine, but try to incorporate our mugs or something more towards that because
right.
The way they want to go.
Draw us in your style.
Yeah.
Wearing Star Wars things.
And with the examples that we put up, like you put Brosk and like we can be Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
You just can't have a picture. You can't just draw Jar Jar Binks and be like, "Hey, it's Jar Jar Binks." That's not what they want. That's not what this contest is. And so it's gonna be a combination of sales and our vote. Yeah. So try to sell as many shirts as you can. And the key here is we have a link below, the TeePublic link to where to upload your design. Mm-hmm. We recommend you do that more than email us because when you do that, the rights are weird. So you'll retain the rights and profits from the sales of your shirts. Whereas if you give it to us and we upload it, then it becomes our property. Right. That's just the rules that we were told.
Right.
So we want you guys to, succeed. We just want to, they think this will be fun. And then you get a cool merchandise package from TeePublic.
You get an 8x10 picture of myself
with his dad
by James. It's a black and white picture of me and James, and we've got our foreheads pushed together, and we're looking into each other's eyes.
It's very artistic.
You know, friend stuff.
Yeah, it's very lovely. But we're gonna start that once you watch this. Just start doing designs, and then if you can email us if you have any questions. Please email us rebelscumbags@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to ask us any questions. And our Facebook page will have everything. You can ask us questions there as well. And if you don't feel comfortable on Facebook, as I said, email, tweet us. Rebel Scumcast is our Twitter.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, just do that. But the link to the TeePublic will be below. And also next Wednesday, June 21st to the 23rd, is the sale on TeePublic for all of our shirts as well.
Sweet.
And also, when you do upload your design to TeePublic, they will be going on sale right away immediately for $14 for a t-shirt. When you upload your design.
Right.
So anyway, they want me to tell you that. But next week, our store is on sale. So please check it out and support the Rebel Scum Podcast. Now let's move on to the crazy thing that happened with this Battlefront 2 stream and all of that was the look of Rey's new, apparently I popped. I'm sorry, guys. Apparently new lightsaber. Now, when I first watched it, I didn't even notice it. And then I watched it again, didn't notice it. And then somebody put on Instagram, why does she have Luke's old lightsaber? And then somebody said, no, that's Ben's old lightsaber. Or like Ben Kenobi's old lightsaber, not Ben. So this is it right here. So, Brock, have you seen this picture yet?
Yeah, I think so.
So if you look at the bottom right, that's not Anakin's lightsaber that she has.
Oh, I see.
So two things came to mind. The first being that in this game, you can use whatever lightsaber you want. Yeah, like she just bought a lightsaber. Yeah. The other thing is, at some point, does she get Luke's old lightsaber or does she get Obi-Wan Kenobi's old lightsaber, which is something, both of those we have spoken about on the show before. So what are your thoughts?
I lean more towards the former than the latter because I feel like
you think Rey is a Skywalker.
I do, no. Just because, like, when you played Battlefront, one of the big things was you could purchase all these like emotes and skins and different I want to be a rebel, but I also want to be like Celestin or whatever. You could choose all your heads or how your character looks. So I feel like this is just in that vein because maybe I still have still have faith in like Disney and Lucasfilms. And EA for that matter. Like I don't think they would let something like that slip.
That's a huge slip up, right?
Like
that's a huge slip up.
Especially after they know how much people are like, the toys. So maybe not. I don't know.
Well, because of that picture though, when you look at that picture and you look at the lightsaber she's holding and then the script, it has to be Obi-Wan's lightsaber because it's blue.
Yeah.
It can't be Luke's new lightsaber based on Obi-Wan's design. So it has to because it's blue, because it's a blue blade.
Right.
Unless, of course, she gets it and then she puts in the new crystal.
Maybe.
I don't. Why would you do that though? That just seems like nonsense.
What if she designs a whole new lightsaber?
It's going to be a double-bladed purple lightsaber, purple and yellow lightsaber, one side each. I hope she designs a new lightsaber just because more toys, man. Why not?
This is kind of bad to say. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it just like we're sweating over a small detail.
I'm sweating because it's hot out.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Total points, right? 1,000. I really think that they bought that. Rey, but it says a Rey's lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It says Rey's lightsaber. It doesn't say like.
Oh yeah.
But Rey's lightsaber is Anakin's lightsaber. So now I'm just confused.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. Maybe.
Look, she could do mind tricks. What's that? Dash strike. Ooh. And is that insight? Is that what? Insight. I guess you can take down the Death Star.
I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and this is all a ploy, or I don't know. Like we all thought that Finn was going to be a Jedi because he kept seeing him with the lightsaber, but nope, not the case.
I would actually rather see this with Finn and it say Finn's lightsaber on the bottom. That's what I want to see happen here.
Yeah, but like I've heard that the next. We don't see Finn till the next DLC. So like a lot of
focus
is on.
He's gonna okay.
That's what I've heard.
I guess that makes sense.
Do you know? I know. I said I don't care, but at the same note, if this is some kind of hint to what happens in the movie, great.
I would love to see. And I've said this before. I would love to see that on Vader's castle on Mustafar, he has Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and somehow, or maybe Luke took that from there, and now Kylo wants that back, or something to that effect. I think would be cool. I mean, at the same time, if that doesn't happen, it's not like
that's the thing.
It's not gonna be uncool to me. I mean, it's just it's fan service.
I think that's what I mean when I don't care, because it's like I don't see it as a huge change on the movie. You know what I mean? Like the
poster would be different.
Yeah.
Actually, wait a minute. I don't have it. We need to look at the poster for the Last Jedi.
Because it's like red and blue.
Well, no, it's blue.
It's like white. It's a whole like all the colors.
But it's also like an homage to A New Hope poster.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So is it? Now, everyone, we have to go back and look at that poster and see what saber she's holding there. So I'm with you. I kind of feel like that's one that she bought, but because it says Rey's lightsaber.
Sorry, it's blue with red back.
What's the hilt look like?
You can't see the hilt. See, this is why I'm like surprised if this is a screw up.
Well, things have been leaking though.
No, it's Luke's. I mean, from this angle, it looks like Luke. Sorry, Anakin's.
Well, no, because if you say Luke's, then I might think it's the green one. That's why.
Yeah. The original blue.
So it's the original one. So it's the one that they. Okay.
I mean, from this picture, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, it does look like that. All right, guys. So there you have it. We've debunked.
What it is. If the movie is about how each individual lightsaber has some kind of new thing, okay, which I don't have a problem with. It's not something we've ever really been given, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like a lightsaber is a lightsaber is a lightsaber. I mean. I think what it needs to be sacred is that, like, if you make a lightsaber, the Kyber crystal tends to pick you. I don't even know if that's canon anymore. So.
Oh yeah, because it was in Clone Wars, so it's canon.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So,
I don't know. Cool stuff though. Like,
what do you guys
think? This is what our website. This is what our podcast is all about. It's just. I don't know.
Yeah, but what do you guys think? Comment, chime below. We want to know what everyone thinks about this. Could that be Obi-Wan's lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber, or is Rey going to make a new lightsaber based on those old designs because that's the only design that Luke has for whatever reason?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it.
Also, I want to take this moment right now to let everyone know that Wicket is Snoke.
Did you say that last episode? I don't even remember you saying that.
I think I said it while you were saying something else. I just sneak it in. It's a sneak attack. I tweeted at Pablo Hidalgo and he hasn't commented on it, which really tells me, because he responds a lot. That tells me one of two things. One, I'm completely right, or he didn't even want to bother.
He's probably got a filter on his tweets that are like, if it says Snoke in it, I do not want to read it.
Well, yesterday, after I put the show together, I should have got this picture, but he tweeted out that Kylo Ren's new scar is not actually the scar from The Force Awakens, but it healed and now he has a new scar. Then he put #canon and it put a picture of a cat just like and it was clearly a joke. Like the minute he writes down canon, because they all joke about how stupid canon is, like the word canon, because they don't even like acknowledge the word canon at Lucasfilm in the story group. So he wrote that as soon as it was a joke, and then it blows up on social media. Then people are like, guys, is this how really it is? Like, guys, relax. It's just a scar. It's not like, I mean, it's funny that people complain about the scar and then they're like, no, just recast these characters. But that's worse than changing a scar half the time.
Right.
But that happens too. So anyway, speaking of Kylo Ren and Rey, I read a rumor that apparently that Kylo Ren wants to team up with Rey and Luke to defeat Snoke. Now, a lot of people feel it's funny too because so many people feel like he could be redeemed and he should be redeemed. And I was one of the ones that felt like he could be redeemed. Like I don't see a reason why he can't be, except for the fact that we've seen the redemption story done before. The original trilogy, Vader is the redemption. Like do we need that anymore? I feel like I don't. So I was thinking, what if I got two things for you. What if they team up to defeat Snoke so that Kylo can become the big bad? And he's just like, screw it, Snoke's gone. Now I'm in charge. Hux, you're dead. Then the other thing is, how everyone thinks that this is going to be The Empire Strikes Back,
Right.
just Redux, basically. It's not, but it's gonna end on like a sour note, like a sad note, and we're like, oh, and then the next one's gonna be the big joyful one. What if the sad note is actually the First Order is like, oh, and it ends with like Kylo and Snoke with his arm around Kylo and like Phasmas and Carbonite. And like, what if it ended that way, and then the next one was like, I think that'd be awesome.
Like,
I love the bad guys.
Add on a sad note, you're saying?
Yeah, it ends on like a happy note for the heroes, but a sad note for the bad guys.
Wow.
Well, no, but anyways, Kylo and Rey killing Snoke.
I'd be okay with that. I think they're both very ambiguous characters right now because they both show. I can't really say much about Rey because it's all kind of. Nothing's really said, but like when you watch her reactions during that lightsaber fight and on Murder Planet in the forest, there's points where you're like, is she grasping how to use the Force, or is she grasping onto the dark side? Because it's like nothing is said, but when she starts to overpower Kylo, it's like, oh, maybe which.
In the novelization, she can hear her voice, which I believe it's assumed. I don't think it's actually spelled out, that it's Snoke telling her to cave in and go for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I've always thought that she had a lot of darkness to her. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about going from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi and having this 2-year gap in between is that all the theories that get to come out now. And so when the movie, if The Last Jedi came out like a month after, I would be, oh, she's a Skywalker or she's turning dark and all that stuff. But now that I've had 2 years and I've heard people say that she's a Skywalker, heard people say she's a Kenobi, heard people think that she's going to turn dark, including, we've talked about that. All these things. Now it's like, I almost feel like that is the letdown now, that because it's predictable at this point, right? Because we've had 2 years to think about it.
Yeah.
So now I'm what direction do they go with Rey? And my feeling now is, she's not going to be dark at all. She's just going to be the hero on the hero's journey. And this one, though, more than the last one, she's going to be very flawed. That's what I think.
I tend to agree because it's sort of, it would seem odd if the villains were just a flip, or the heroes were to flip. You know what I mean? Like, I base it on nothing because it just seems like your big reveal or your final showdown is going to be in the 9th. So to take the villains you have set up right now, Snoke, Kylo, Hux, and to eliminate a bunch of them in this one seems bizarre. Of course, maybe once we watch Last Jedi, I'd be like, oh, I understand now.
Yeah.
Really, the bad person is this, the good person is that. So
that's one thing a lot of people forget as well, is you have a storyline. And I know there was no story plan, but I think we were in agreement before that they had points, and they're like, we have to hit this point, hit this point, hit this point. So you can do whatever you want in terms of killing off a villain here, a hero there, because you have an end game. I think they have an end game, and they know where it's going to end. And I think that's important. And as long as you know how to get there, it doesn't matter when you dispose of which character or how you handle which character. It's getting to that point that matters.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. And another point I wanted to bring up was casual fans don't know things.
Yeah, you put that down. What does that mean? Oh, you mean just people are like, oh, it's a Star
actually,
Wars
this goes back to our Battlefront conversation from the start, and there's a side Akbar here.
Yeah.
But the Battlefront trailer came out, and it has that sentient of Palpatine.
Yeah.
Right? And people were like, is that? And people were on social media, on everything I went on. They're like, could this be Palpatine? And then people who had the books were like, idiot, it's in the book.
Yeah.
But not everybody reads the book. There are probably 100% more Star Wars fans that just go see the movies than play the games and especially read the books, because people don't read anymore. That's just a fact. But that's the thing. So I think when we're talking about things, that sometimes everyone has to remember that not everybody knows what's going on in the expanded universe of Star Wars. Everybody knows what's going on in the movies, and that's why I think movies like Rogue One and Han Solo and whatever spin-off comes next, it's important for them to touch on the kyber crystals, the wills, if you're going to acknowledge those in the saga films.
Yeah. It's like the new expanded universe through books and comics. It's so different from the past because a lot of it happened way after when the movies are done, right? So right now, we said it before, it's like we're in this limbo where they're putting out stuff, but you're like, well, it seems like they're holding back because it can't tell you everything, right? I mean, we have yet to get any book with Kylo or Luke prior to Force Awakens, and for probably a very important reason. So yeah, I don't know why people get so. Well, I get why people love Star Wars, and I get why people like fan culture. So it's like they just need to relax. I mean, this is why it took 40 years of fan culture to finally be socially acceptable, because it's like the people in a lot of fan culture, and I'm not saying Star Wars fans or comic geeks, hell, even like sports fans, they love what they love, and they're not very accommodating at times for a lot of people, because like you meet a sports fan, they don't want to explain anything to you. I mean, the joke is like a husband trying to explain like a game or sport or a team to his wife. They're like, oh, women, like it's no different from a nerd's like, actually, like. So yeah, I mean, just because there's stuff happening in the books, like, you can't get all blinded out of shape. So I don't know. But yeah, anything could happen with Kylo and Rey.
Yeah, Kylo and Rey, I really hope. I don't really have hope. I want to see them battle. The problem with the battle is he was injured in the first one, so we're all like, okay, we accept the fact that he can't fight her. But now she's going to be so much stronger, and he hopefully is so much stronger. Could this be the best lightsaber battle we will ever see in a Star Wars movie if they go toe-to-toe? They might not, but if they do, could that potentially be the best lightsaber battle? By the way, we did top 5 lightsaber battle, like one of our first shows.
Yeah.
What was your number one?
Oh God, I can't even.
Was it Jedi? I think it was Jedi.
Probably. Maybe Yoda and Palpatine was high up there too.
Yeah, mine was. I had them all. I know people don't like it because it's choreographed, but that's what these all are. So I love it. I don't care.
They're not actually. It's not real, guys.
I don't care. I find it fun, and I like all 3 of those characters.
Yeah.
So whatever. But no. But could this possibly be the best lightsaber fight if they go toe to toe?
Yes. No. It's.
Do you think it would be as acrobatic as, say, the prequel ones, or do you think it'll be more emotional like the original trilogy?
See, yeah, good point. Like the prequels came out like roughly around the time where like all those like, hidden dragon, crouching tiger came out, where it was like, oh yeah, everybody's got to be on those things. They got to jump up and they got to fly. Like, it's just grounded a little bit more in reality.
And it's funny that you say that, because the Force Awakens came out in this era now where somebody gets hit by something and they go flying 100 feet in the air. And that happens with the bowcaster when people just go flying all the time. That's just how movies are. That's how they operate.
Yeah, and like we're in a different time now when it comes to stunts and choreography with stuff like that. I know you haven't watched the Daredevil Netflix show.
I watched the first 3 to 5 episodes, Brock.
Oh, okay. Did you ever see the one
in the
hallway? Yeah, you saw that.
That's like the second episode. Was it first or second?
I can't remember. There's so
I
many
saw
of these
that.
things.
I saw that.
That looks real, but it's all choreography. It's one long shot. Like,
there's no lightsabers though.
No, I know it's no lightsabers, but it doesn't really matter. It's still going to be the same kind of idea. Possibly because the fight in the woods on Murder Planet is pretty sweet, and it's pretty tame when you think about it. Like, it's like, yeah, that's if lightsabers were a thing, that's what it would look like. So now, once we get Kylo not holding back, because now he knows she's like his match to an extent, and she might get some training. Yeah, it could be super cool.
I hope Kylo beats the crap out of her for 2 reasons. Sure. 1, revenge. 2, it shows that Rey's not perfect, and it gives you something to build towards. I don't want her to lose a limb though to Kylo Ren, because I've seen that. But I want Kylo Ren to just like boom, take it, and then Luke's like, hey, and he picks him up with the Force and throws him off a cliff.
But I mean, we saw the scene where her hand, or we assume it's her hand, on the rock, and all the dust and pebbles are rising. So if that looks awesome, like, you gotta assume that maybe we'll get more of a lightsaber fight that's a lot of CG, which isn't a terrible thing because CG is pretty good now.
I think we're going to get a combination between the prequels and the original. I think it's going to have... But here's the thing, though. For it to have that emotion, she needs to somehow be connected to one of the villains. If she's fighting Kylo... Because this is... side up right here. I love Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
You know that. My problem with the new Ninja Turtle, Michael Bay movie, like the first one that he produced, was Splinter and the Shredder have no history together.
Yeah.
So their fight, there's no emotion in that fight. It's like, I'm just like, well, there's a cartoon rat and some thing with knives. Like, there's nothing there. Whereas when you watch the puppet one, I'm like, they have a history. Yeah. That's what I want to see, right? And this is an adult talking. But so if Rey's fighting Kylo Ren, and like, is the history just that they met once on Murder Planet?
Yeah.
Or is it like, is there some kind of connection there?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying brother and sister or cousins, but is there something there from her past that kind of needs to come out that makes that fight even more powerful?
It's hard to say because we are getting the sense that, like, one, Luke is going to be a reluctant teacher. So, like, where exactly do you put it all together? Because, one, Kylo and Rey almost have to come toe-to-toe right in the beginning of the movie for it to be a little bit hard. Because it's like, unless Kylo goes and tries to kill Finn, like, what gain? Like, if it was, like, Han was still around, that might make a little bit more sense because she connected pretty quickly with it. If you had another movie, it would make a little bit more sense. But, like, there's no, like, she has no tie to any of them. I mean, argue, like, all our people, or all our fans listening, our subscribers, shouldn't say. Fans sounds so full of myself. But, like, I feel like there is no stakes for Rey yet because, one, we don't know where her allegiance lies. I mean, we do and we don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we don't know enough. Like, I think that's why I said earlier that she and Kylo are ambiguous because you're like, well, what are you?
And you know what's when Obi-Wan dies in A New Hope, it's more impactful than in that as a standalone than Han Solo's, because Han Solo doesn't have any character around him at that time, and that's what I think Mark Hamill might have a point when he says there was a missed opportunity with that reconnection between Luke and Han, and because even the Leia and Han, like, there was no one in Chewie, but Chewie just goes rah and then shoots. Yeah, like, Chewie even could have had a little bit more of an emotional impact, I get, but like it didn't have that with Rey. So when Rey's fighting Kylo, you don't feel the Han death on Rey. Yeah. Like, it's just not there. Yeah. I hope I don't get in trouble for that.
It is
I love the Force Awakens. I love the way lightsabers look on snow.
Oh, for sure. That looks awesome. Yeah. You know what it is? It's like orphans seem to be, like, immediately anyone that they're slightly attached to, if they're taken out or killed, it's like, because, like, what an orphan's always trying to find a place, right? I know Luke's not technically an orphan, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he didn't fit in Tatooine. So he meets this guy that knows all the stuff about his father, and then he's going to take him away from boring Tatooine, and that he has the Force and can train as a Jedi. Like,
and the difference between Han and that's the thing. Han and Obi-Wan are, because they took Han out of who he became in the original trilogy and made him this grumpy old smuggler who went back to doing that. Yeah. If they would have kept him on the path that he was on in the original trilogy, he would have been more like Obi-Wan, where I think we would have had more of that feeling of a father-daughter between them. Not that they're father and daughter, I'm saying the feeling. Like Obi-Wan and Luke, because Obi-Wan was kind of this optimistic guy who was like, you could tell he was like a guardian, whereas Han Solo was like, I want you to be on a co-pilot. You know, like, he wasn't soft. Which Han Solo's not, but he kind of, if you would have kept him on that trajectory that he was on in the original trilogy, but they spun it, which is fine because it makes, because obviously Ben has to go dark and you have to tell a story, and that's just the way it is. But anyway, the point, is they need an emotional connection for her to have in an emotional catalyst for her in that one. So her and Kylo Ren are brother and sister. Next up, I didn't hit the button. Never tell me the odds. What are the odds that Rey and Kylo Ren are brothers? No. People are going to think I'm serious now. Although
0%.
I wouldn't have a problem if they were, because as I've said all the time, just do whatever you want. It's your movie.
I'd rather her be a Solo than a Skywalker. That's all I'll say.
I wouldn't have an issue with either. But I understand storytelling, whereas you understand Dutch boots.
I do.
My dad sent me a picture of him, I think in like Amsterdam or somewhere. Right. I don't know where. Somewhere. But he's in a giant, are they clogs?
Yeah, clogs.
A giant wooden one.
Like when he's sitting in, or he's just
wearing sitting in it.
Yeah.
And he has a Rebel Scum Podcast shirt on with our faces.
When did he go to Amsterdam recently?
Yeah, they went. My parents went on a cruise.
Oh,
I'll show you the picture after. It was pretty funny. It was just like random picture. He just sends it to me.
Hey, scumbag!
I go, that's hilarious. He goes, look at the shirt. I was like, all right, awesome.
For you, for the listeners and watchers, unknown. My father was born in Holland, so
yes, I should have pointed that out if you
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
And when I moved to Mississauga and met James and our friends, that became a huge deal that I was Dutch.
Well, not really.
First, not you specifically, but other friends like Dutch. I'm like, I was born in Niagara.
I just know two things about the Dutch.
Small hands, stink of cabbage.
And my dad was born in Italy, and I look so Italian.
Yeah. Your dad doesn't really come off as Italian.
No, wait till you see him tanned. And then he
thank you.
talks with his hands, and when he's driving like that, it's fun. Okay. The first odds of the Knights of Ren getting a large amount of screen time in The Last Jedi, because seriously, what is up with the Knights of Ren?
I want to go 75% on this one. I don't think they're going to get a ton of screen time, but I want them to be in this movie. So I just want an explanation of who they are. It would be great if they were a large part of it. Like, Kylo regroups them, and then that's who we fight against. I mean, they might not all be Jedis. They might not all have lightsabers, but they're definitely perfect for having a hand-to-hand melee fight of some sort.
My thing is, we did. J.J. Abrams was like, "I want to do a Knights of Ren movie," and we did our top what spin-offs do we want to do, and Andrew was like, "I want to see a Knights of Ren movie."
Yeah.
And since he said that, I've been thinking, why? Because we know nothing about them.
Yeah.
We've seen nothing of them.
They're the Boba Fett.
Yeah, there's like nothing in, but like a casual fan doesn't even know they're a thing because it's a throwaway line. You, the leader, the master of the Knights of Ren.
It's like 10 frames in a movie.
Yeah, so I'm going to go full Brock on this one because if you give them to me and they're something I want to see, fine. But if you give them to me and they're just like a bunch of doofuses that got beat by Luke, I'm not interested in that. So full Brock on that one. 50-50.
Like
I can't.
I don't know. I hope we get an explanation of who they are. Then after that, that's fine. Like, them put it in a book.
Are they the new Sith? I'm totally cool with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give me something. But if you're not gonna expand on them, then then I'm just upset with everything in life. Everything. Especially your Dutchness.
Ooh.
I think it was Goldmember.
I love gold.
That's why
it has nothing to do.
Nothing at all. Just one of those things. Odds of Maz Kanata in Han Solo.
I want to go 60% because I feel like if Lupita Nyong'o is in this movie, they would have announced it. Though they could sit on it and be this secret. I don't know because she is in Last Jedi, correct?
Yes.
So,
not that you would know that from anything you've seen, but I'm going 101%. Because you introduce her as someone Han Solo knows in The Force Awakens, and you're not going to put her in there. Like, that's where you introduce her. That's where you're like, hey, this is how they know each other.
Though this is funny, like, the whole Akbar Radis, like, conversation where it's like, whoa, we can't put him in so many movies. Like, why?
I know. Radis was cool, but he was just Akbar,
he was a stand-in for Akbar.
I like him better than Akbar because of what he accomplished.
Exactly.
But then they ruined that too. Like, they didn't ruin it, but they misstepped in Rogue One, and I love Rogue One. Everyone knows that. But they didn't show his death.
Yeah.
He just kind of disappears, and you're like, I guess he died. Yeah. But, like, that character should have had a big emotional death.
Yeah.
I think the new Star Wars movies are missing emotion. I hope The Last Jedi is just people crying for 2 hours. Did you give your odds on that?
No.
61% is it?
Yes.
The odds of Battlefront 2 being better than the original Battlefront 2.
100%.
Whoa!
100%. Like,
people love Battlefront 2. The original.
I mean, Battlefront
2. The original Battlefront 2 that came out. The one that we talked about that was on Xbox and all that. Like the Battlefront 2 that everybody loves.
Oh, for the original. Wait, what?
Like the old Battlefront 2?
Yeah.
Is the new Battlefront 2 going to be better than the old Battlefront 2?
Yeah, just because graphics. And slightly better online capabilities. I argue that, like, they're just going to take that. And there was no story mode. There was and there wasn't. You know, it wasn't this thought out of a story mode. So that, I think they're going to try to copy what's in that second one and then add the newer update stuff. Like, and I bet you if we pop that into an Xbox right now, it'd be like, graphically.
When the new Battlefront came out,
yeah,
I did not have a PlayStation or anything.
Yeah.
And Rob, friend of the show, he came over to my place and he was like, I brought Battlefront. I'm like, I can't wait to play it. He goes, no, I brought Battlefront 2 for Xbox.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? He's like, no, you can play on your 360. So we put it in and we played it.
Yeah.
It was still pretty fun. The graphics were a little jarring, but it was still fun. But then he brought over the new Battlefront on Xbox, and he brought his Xbox One because I don't have that. I didn't have anything. He brought that, and I was like, I need this.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I'm going to go 100% better because I agree with you. I think they're just going to copy what was, and then you're going to have that campaign mode, which is going to be the canon story. And because because of canon, you can't do anything.
Yeah, of course.
So Battlefront's the genius of Battlefront is you give me that canon story, and now this is just free for all. Go have fun. Doesn't have to fit.
But I think this game is going to be that gray area because you're going to be able to. Well, I think Battlefront in general, like they would just drop like random hero characters in the like places they've never been. You know, like you'd see Luke in Geonosis, and then like no, but that's not a problem because it's a video game. Who cares? Like we're just shooting and killing. Right?
Well, that's the thing. So they have the story mode to get the canon crap going, and they're like the rest is just for fun. Which I don't know why video games just can't be for fun. I don't know why it has to be canon. Like you know when you do like the Bounty Hunter game with Django and it's a canon story, like that's cool, but they don't all have to be canon. You know, they don't have to all be that. So that's all of our odds for this week. Those are three. I'm really excited for Battlefront 2. I don't know if you noticed that. Now it's going on to a segment where Brock has a book or a comic.
No.
You don't.
No. Dude, I have been more like Sunday was my first day off in 20 days.
Sounds like you're complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had all of Sunday to read a book.
I had all of Sunday to
I don't know
sleep.
if you've read new Star Wars comics, but they're about 7 pages.
I missed an opportunity to see Wonder Woman because I was sleeping all day.
Thanks for the invite.
You were in Grimsby.
No, I wasn't. All right.
Yes,
I have a book. I just want to talk about this one briefly. It's an old book written by Alan Dean Foster. It is called Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And I don't know if any of you have read this book, but if you have not, you must read this book. This book was the true sequel to Star Wars #A New Hope. Before Empire was even a thought. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, this book was written George Lucas before the movie was even done. Before A New Hope was even done, they wrote this book, and so George Lucas gave him notes, and he said, I don't think Harrison Ford's going to return as Han Solo, so Han Solo's not in it. Kyber crystals, I can't remember how they're spelt, but they're spelt differently, but that's the first time they're ever introduced. It mostly takes place in a cave because they thought the budget for the movie would have to be so they made this so that George Lucas would have a basis for the next film and when they got to make it. So it's very like a low budget sci-fi thing. Luke and Leia may or may not have sex in it. Anyway, it's actually a really good book. You should check it out. It's a true I mean, it's not the true sequel, but it's a real sequel to A New Hope in that it's a continuation and it follows those characters. And it's what would have been if people didn't go see Star Wars when it came out, like George Lucas suspected they might not.
Right,
so it's actually very cool to read that. Especially now. It's
like watching the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. Because, like, not exactly the same thing. It was like, this is what it was supposed to be like, so. It is, kind of.
Yeah.
It was affected by how people reacted to things.
Yeah, and then Empire Strikes Back came on, and it was incredible.
Hello, news! Beep, 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 beep.
Live from Coruscant.
All right, what is in the news today?
Shazam!
Luke's Caretaker. Now this
is a picture from Venomous, by the way. Sorry, Venomous.
Oh yes, I think I did see that. This came about today that on Octo, Luke has a caretaker of sorts, or several caretakers. We reported on this late last year. It was a picture of this amorphous blob that's on the shore of Michael Skelly Island, or Skelly Michael Island, or whatever it's actually called. And it was like, what is that? So there's this like crazy creature that's supposed to be a foam puppet. So like it's about 9 feet tall. It's supposed to be 2 puppeteers inside or something along those lines. And I get the sense that they're aquatic, so like they kind of live on the island, but like they have some kind of connection with the Force, so that they protect the temple that he's living with. So that's the thing, and the question is this going to be an interesting character, or not even so much a character, just a cool ad or a creature or such? You know, like everybody loves the Rancor, but does everybody like the Rathgar? So that's
Bull Gullet,
or the Bull Gullet, which is what it looks like more a little bit, but like. So, yeah, that's the thing. So, that'll be interesting. There's a lot of crazy reports. Not crazy. Reports of just crazy-looking creatures on this island. So, my guess is we're going to spend a lot of time on this island. There's enough time to see, like, these things. The things that look like puffins. The gremlin things, which I think are also the puffins. But, like, so, yeah, that's cool. But, yeah. I hope it looks better than the pixelated picture we got like a couple months ago. So Uncle Owen, aka Joel Edgerton, is that how you pronounce it?
Edgerton or Edgerton? I don't know. But The Gift is a fantastic film.
Yeah, which he directed as well. Yeah. He had said in a interview that he would love to reprise his character as Uncle Owen. He knows who's the director of the third one? Trevorrow? What's his first name?
Colin
Trevorrow. Apparently he was talking to him and said, hey, you know, me in Star Wars would be a great thing. It's like, you've already been in Star Wars. But, you know, with the talk of an Obi-Wan film, this would be perfect. You could cast him in it because he's slightly older now, just like Ewan McGregor.
You imagine an Obi-Wan, Uncle Owen adventure film?
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic. And like I've said before, if you read the Star Wars comics with the Obi-Wan journals, like that's pretty much what you're reading about constantly. So it would be worth, and he's a good actor, I would argue. So
he's great in Warrior.
And speaking of Michael Scaglione, aka Octo, too many people are going there, and that's great. The tourism board of Ireland is okay with that, but the problem is it is an island, not a very large island, and this too many people showing up tends to affect the environment of it. Plus, it's a small island, so a lot of people walking around can sort of speed up erosion, and there's a lot of rock slides on this place as well. I mean, you've seen it on film. It's not big. So I think they're trying to hold back because they projected that like 1,100,000 would visit it, and they've already hit like 12. And that was supposed to last till 2018.
It's amazing what a movie will do.
Oh, I would go to this. I was in Ireland like a couple months after they shot there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we shot Star Wars here." I'm like, "What? Can we go there?" It looks cool, but yeah, I think it's kind of a pain to get there. But anyways, so yeah, that's cool, but don't destroy the environment, you guys. Battlefront 2. I don't know if you've been listening, but we have been talking about it like crazy. So this Saturday we saw the first gameplay stuff from Theed, and you know this game is going to be really impressive because we got the story mode that is going to work with the book, and then also we're going to learn characters. Iden Vazio is who you play as, who is a true blue Imperial and is trying to figure out what to do now that the Death Star is destroyed and the Empire is scattered. So that's what a lot of people have been wanting for Battlefront 2 since Battlefront 1 came out. Another big announcement is that all DLC will be free this time. Now, if you have Battlefront 1, you purchased it, or like me, got the copy that had everything in it. So that's pretty cool. Like I was told, or I read the DLC, the first one coming out will be able to play as Finn and Phasma. I don't know. Oh, and it's going to be Last Jedi stuff. So that is impressive. I mean, that's not new. We had Jakku before we had Force Awakens. So we're going to see a planet that we might not know about or only have heard of.
I imagine Crate.
The Crate, there you go. So we'll see something there. That'll be very interesting.
Or Dakar.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? I don't know. We'll tell you when we find out.
Probably Endor.
Can you stop talking? So very impressive
Probably
so
Endor.
far. Like if you're watching, you can see the picture of the Emperor on this robot droid screen. Like that is cool and a great idea. And as you said, this is in books, so this is in Empire's End.
Yeah, and I think it's in comics too, no?
I haven't seen it, but this is not a new idea to me, so I maybe it's expanding. But anyways, that's the Holo news. Battlefront 2, you're gonna want to pre-order it. I haven't heard.
Pre-order now and get early beta access.
Yes, that's correct. I did hear that, but I haven't heard any other like get this and then get this. But yeah, early beta. Maybe we should do that so we can start like, hey, this is cool.
We should. We might have someone on the show in a couple weeks that will talk about it. So we'll see.
Okay, cool.
And now it's time for top 5.
Top 5.
Today's top 5 are brought to you in part by Top 5s. Top 5s, not top 6s. Boom. Today's top 5 are, Brock.
Top 5 Star Wars video games.
Yay! Not just any video games. Star Wars video games.
Star Wars video games.
I'll go first this week if you're cool with that.
Yep.
My number 5 is Lego Star Wars. Mine are more series. Mine are like series. They're not like, because if I did 1, 2, there's too cheap. So I'm going with Lego Star Wars.
This might be controversial, but I'm going to say Star Wars Battlefront for the new current one. I like it, but it doesn't go high on my list because, playing the old Battlefront was a little bit more fun and appealing. They took away stuff that I enjoyed, so yeah. I mean, I think I've said it before. I know I've said it to you in person. I don't know if I've said it on the show. It's like I don't like that I can't play whatever I want to play. Like I want to play an X-Wing mission on the Death Star. I own the game, have yet to do that. Because I know there's a way to
the
find...
DLC stuff, yeah, you can, but the other stuff you can.
I know, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it
DLC.
should be just, what do you want to play? This? Cool. Like, I know a lot... The problem with it was you had to be online. You couldn't just play whatever you wanted against the computer or whatever. You could and you couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... So... That's a big loss for me. It looks beautiful, so it needs to be on this top 5. And I'm pretty sure Battlefront 2, if we were to do this in like 6 months, would be number 1. But that's what I put for 5.
What's number 4?
Number 4, Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the Nintendo 64. Because that was like, yes, we have finally figured out how to do a believable X-Wing fighter. I can't remember if you played it at other things, but like, yeah. It was fun.
My number 4 is The Force Unleashed.
Oh.
Unleashed. Yeah, it probably should be higher on a lot of people's lists, but my list is pretty funny. So in terms of it's not very good. My number 3, Super Star Wars. Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi. They are fantastic games. I have Superstars for my PS4. I love it. I still play it. You get to shoot little gremlin things on Tatooine. It's amazing.
The hardest Star Wars games.
So much fun. So much fun. Your number 3.
My number 3 is the Star Wars Unleashed games because it was one of the first times when you play a video game that like changed. It wasn't changed, but it was like, oh wow, like you can play a Star Wars game and it has effect on. It tells you something you didn't know before. Like that was great, but now it's not canon.
I know, and it's still fun. You can still play it.
It was awesome.
That's
the thing. It's we talk about like what's awesome in the movies, but like think about all the lightsaber battles in that game, or like he pulls a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
Next week's Never Tell Me the Odds. Will someone pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky?
Yeah, exactly.
Your number 2.
My number 2 will be the Knights of the Old Republic series. So 1 and 2 for the Xbox. That was the reason I got the original Xbox to play that game, because it was like, oh, but it was so good. You gave us Revan, it gave us Malik, and even though it continued on with different villains, like there's so many good characters in it, and it's awesome, and they should make it into a Netflix show, please.
Sign the petition.
No, thank you.
My number 2. Pod Racer and Pod Racer Revenge. I love those. Part of the reason why I went with why I got Aaron to get me the the PS4 instead of the Xbox One was because I wanted Super Star Wars and I wanted Pod Racer. It also came with Bounty Hunter, which is not on my list, but I also really enjoy that game where you're Jango Fett, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Jedi Starfighter, which is terrible, and that might be it. But I really want those. I like these old games. I love, it's like it's a racing game and you're on pods and everyone knows I love pod racing, and it's like it was made for me at this time. And sometimes I go home like I'm just gonna play Pod Racer Revenge. And that's me. My number one, Battlefront. The series, all Battlefront, whatever. I love the new one. I mean, obviously, I love the new one because it's the only game that I've played longer than 60 minutes that's not Super Mario Brothers. And I'm really, really looking forward to Battlefront 2. And for me, it's not even about being a hero in those games. I actually like being the Stormtroopers and the Rebels. I really like that. I know some people, that's the issue with it. But for me, that's what I like. I actually, when I have to be a hero, unless I'm Vader, I'm not keen on being a hero at all.
See, I agree with that because mine is also Battlefront, more the original ones. And a lot of people talk about Battlefront 2 for like the old systems as the better one, but I loved the first one. And you know, when they talk about there's no story mode, there wasn't really a story mode in it. It was just like, go in, get this base, then this base, then this base. It was capture the flag. It was Dynasty Warriors with guns. And I was like, I played that for hours. It was so good. Like, when I see Geonosis, I don't see it because of movies or books. I see it because of that game. I think I played that game for so long and then realized, oh, that's the planet from Attack of the Clones. Like, I was like, oh, that's all this stuff. But, like, I love that game. It's the reason it's on this shelf here, and I have not gotten rid of it.
I think we're both in agreement that a Battlefront 2 is how do I say it? It's like, it better be awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it is. I think the reason why they're doing this live stream they did on Saturday and they're showing these trailers is I think they have confidence in this one. Yeah. And they listen to everybody's complaints, but the first one's not mine. Everybody's complaints, and they're going to be like, hey, we know you had issue with it. Right. Our hands were, and their hands were also tied. They had to have it out by that November. They were told they're making it like a year before. They're like, we have to do this. Wow. And you can't just cheap out on graphics nowadays. Even though I don't, like, I'm playing Super Star Wars and Pod Racer. Like, the graphics don't really matter that much to me. But nowadays, the graphics have to be top notch. And if you're not going to have which Battlefront has amazing graphics. Like, it's beautiful looking.
Yes.
It's gorgeous to look at. So they did that. They focused on that and a few levels here and there. And they were like, this is what we're going to give you. Right. Now, it should have maybe been cheaper. My thing with the download content is I bought it it was on sale. I bought it for really cheap on sale. But I don't have a problem with that because I got the first Injustice game. Yeah. And they're like, spend $7 on Batgirl. I'm like, why? I just bought the game. Yeah. So, and then, 5, 6, 7 months later, they're like, here's the Game of the Year edition and here's all the add-ons and it's $20. So it's like, it happens to every game and I didn't have an issue with that.
That's the problem. I went to my local video game store, EB Games, and we were talking about that. I'm like, well, it's funny how when Battlefront came out, it was this much. But then if you wait like a couple months, which at the time I didn't get it till later on. I think I bought the original one for like $40 or something like that. It was originally $70, and then they came out with like, you have the game and all this, and it's $20.
But that's how. What?
But that's because they made all their money back, and they're like, well.
But every game does that. If you wait a year, every game goes down to $20.
Yes and no.
I got the Lord of the Rings game of the year. That was $20 with all the add-on crap. Yeah. If you wait a year, all video games go down in price, except for Super Mario Brothers. Just wait a year.
Yeah, I mean, Wii U does not do that.
No. You have to wait like 5 years. They're like, the new system's coming out. All Mario games are $20.
Like the current, obviously, but like there's like Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers always stays above $50. Always, Mario Kart, even when it's updated.
Mario Kart's genius because they just re-released it for the Switch, and it's like super expensive. And I have this game, but I don't have a Switch because. But anyway, video games. Look, if you want to play video games, spend the money because you're good. Like I got my money's worth out of Battlefront. Like whereas if I didn't play it as much as I did, I would have felt really ripped off in a year because I could have waited a year. So some games I'm waiting like Titanfall 2. I'm gonna probably get for $30. Yeah, because that's how it is. Anyway, I'm not a gamer. You could probably tell. Star Wars The Last Jedi comes out tomorrow. What? We're going to get an early screening of it. Ryan Johnson's coming over. He's my cousin. And we're gonna watch it.
His mother's a Brazilian.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it by the pool, big screen. Adam Driver will be serving us popcorn.
Yeah.
This has been the 46th. That's not true, guys. This has been the 46th episode of the Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm James.
I'm Brock.
Join us on all social media platforms and our design contest. You can find Brock at
BF Smink. There's noise going on outside our studio. At BF Smink on Twitter and Instagram.
And follow me at Petsafino, where you can kick my butt on PS4, Battlefront 1, and soon Battlefront 2.
Yep.
And may the force of others be with you.
You got it.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.